Hi biologists, let's start by looking at the learning objectives for this lesson. At the end of this section and following the biology syllabus, you should be able to define conservation, outline any one practice from one of the following areas: agriculture, fisheries or forestry. What does this actually mean? What are we trying to understand? It's straightforward enough. We have to define the term conservation. We have to give a general description of any one practice from one of the following areas: agriculture, fisheries, or forestry. We shall focus our attention on fisheries because we might have some prior knowledge from geography that we might be able to use here. Right, let's go. Humans have a big impact on ecosystems and even on the planet or biosphere as a whole. The effects are so big that they can be seen with satellite images from space. We have to show the human impact on the ecosystem by considering pollution, conservation, and waste management. Therefore, we need to look at each one of these in turn. Conservation. Conservation means saving, preserving, or keeping from change. Jams are sometimes called conserves, as you are saving or preserving the fruit. Here, however, conservation means saving and protecting the environment. The earth has a definite amount of resources, like fish stocks, which are being used up at an astonishing rate. If we keep overusing the planet's resources, we will permanently damage many ecosystems. Our objective here is to define conservation. So, conservation is the wise management of the existing natural resources in an ecosystem. These natural resources are anything in nature, ranging from plants and animals to landscape. We have to exercise control over the rate at which these resources are used. So conservation is critical for the survival of ourselves and the survival of the planet as a whole. Conservation ensures that we keep a wide range of habitats and we prevent the death and extinction of organisms, like our friend the dodo here, who no longer exists. There are other benefits to be had from conservation. Conservation prevents organisms becoming extinct, like our friend the dodo on the previous slide. Conservation maintains biodiversity. Biodiversity refers to the wide range of living things. Conservation maintains the scenic landscapes and recreational amenities like rivers and lakes and forests. It preserves the possible future useful use of organisms. For example, if we make a species extinct and then discover it contained the cure for cancer, wouldn't we kick ourselves? We are also not entitled to destroy other forms of life. We have a moral or ethical duty to maintain life. And lastly, conservation helps to maintain the balance of nature. It helps to keep the delicate balance between predators and prey. Conservation practice in fisheries. There are three main areas or examples of conservation practices in fisheries. The first area is related to the size of the nets, the mesh size. The next area is related to fishing quotas. How much fish are you allowed to catch? And the last area relates to restocking or replacing the population of fish, perhaps in the rivers and lakes. Let's look at net size first. There are regulations with regard to mesh sizes. Mesh sizes are actually fixed. They are of a certain size, so that younger fish who are smaller can escape from the net. This will allow the fish to reproduce before being caught, and numbers in the ocean are then maintained. Another conservation practice is fishing quotas. A quota is a limit on the amount of fish that can be caught each year. Scientists check the number of different fish species in the sea. Quotas are then put on the amount of each species that can be caught. The third area of practice in the fishing industry is fish restocking. Fish are raised in a hatchery. It's like a fish farm. The fish are released into the river, the lake, or the ocean. This will increase or restore an endangered fish population. Other conservation practices in fisheries consist of less trawlers or fishing boats being put to sea, shorter fishing seasons, European Union (EU) members only being allowed to fish in EU waters. Also, there is severely restricted fishing in the Irish Conservation Box. The Irish Conservation Box are the breeding grounds for herring, mackerel, hake and haddock. Continual environmental monitoring is absolutely crucial when it comes to conservation. Monitoring systems involve checking fish stock numbers, checking fish catches. Is everybody fishing within the quota? Checking fishing equipment. Are proper nets being used? Checking water samples. Lastly, our duty is to pass on the natural environment that we inherited and the planet we inherited to future generations. Think of the children. Now that we have reached the end of our lesson, have we achieved our objective? Are you able to define conservation? Are you able to outline any one practice from one of the following areas: agriculture, fisheries, or forestry? Our objective was to outline any one practice from fisheries.